Are we, as Atlanta Falcons fans, trapped in some kind of twisted purgatory, constantly yearning for that elite edge rusher, only to be offered solutions that feel like a cruel joke? Just when we thought the offseason frenzy had settled and our defensive future was firmly rooted in youthful potential, a new, utterly perplexing trade rumor emerges, dangling a tantalizing yet seemingly impossible piece of the puzzle right in front of us. Can we truly afford to chase proven production at such an astronomical cost, or are we destined to ride the roller coaster of development, hoping our young guns finally deliver? The Atlanta Falcons defense has been a perennial source of frustration, a unit that for too long has underperformed and left us scratching our heads. But this offseason, there was a palpable sense of optimism, a strategic pivot towards youth and potential. The front office injected a significant dose of draft capital into the defensive side of the ball, dedicating 7 picks in the first 4 rounds of the 2024 and 2025 NFL drafts to fortify that unit. Fans, myself included, have been genuinely excited by the prospect of this defensive resurgence, knowing that after 2024, there was nowhere to go but up. However, this excitement is tempered by a stark reality. We are relying heavily on a host of unproven NFL players this season, including defensive lineman Rooker Hororo and rookie edge rushers James Pierce Jr. and Jalon Walker, among others. It's a gamble on potential, a bet on the future, but it leaves us with immediate questions about proven production. Enter the Cincinnati Bengals and their star edge rusher, Trey Hendrickson, a 4-time Pro Bowler. Hendrickson led the entire NFL in sacks last season with a phenomenal 17.5. He's a game wrecker, quarterback's nightmare, and precisely the kind of disruptive force the Falcons have been desperately seeking. The problem? Hendrickson is currently embroiled in a contentious contract dispute with the Bengals. It's a situation that has escalated to the point where Cincinnati is reportedly listening to trade offers. While it felt like the Falcons' ship for acquiring a veteran edge rusher had sailed after the draft, Nick Shook of NFL Network has surprisingly listed Atlanta as one of the potential landing spots for the 30-year-old pass-rushing phenom. Now, here's where the proposal veers into the realm of the truly mind-boggling. Diana Rossini of The Athletic reported that the Bengals' asking price for Hendrickson is nothing short of exorbitant. A 2026 first-round draft pick and a young defensive player. If you're a Falcons fan, your mind immediately goes to our prized 2026 first-round pick, which was none other than James Pierce Jr. So, the hypothetical trade becomes James Pierce Jr. and Brandon Dorlus for Trey Hendrickson. On the surface, this sounds absolutely absurd, and Nick Shook himself acknowledged the initial shock value, stating at first glance, this pairing seems absurd. Atlanta just spent 2 first-round picks on edge rushers in April. Why would they give up a young player and an asset for a 30-year-old at the same position? But Shook, to his credit, understands the immense pressure on general manager Terry Fontenot and head coach Raheem Morris heading into the 2025 season. He offers a brutally honest explanation. Well, I can give you a simple explanation. Production. It's good to invest in young players, but those picks are more aspirational than reliable. And the current regime doesn't have enough autonomy to subsist on dreams alone. Not after their expensive gamble on Kirk Cousins failed last year. Hits home. While the potential of Pierce and Walker is undeniable, they are still unproven commodities. The Falcons need immediate guaranteed production, especially after the Kirk Cousins experiment seemingly fizzled out so quickly. The dynamic of draft picks changes dramatically once those players actually don a uniform. Imagine the uproar during the NFL draft. The Falcons had traded their 2026 first-round pick and a 2027 third-round pick for Trey Hendrickson. Analysts would have mercilessly criticized the move, much like they did with the Pierce selection. But now that Pierce has put on a Falcons uniform and shown flashes of promise in training camp, the idea of trading him rather than some unnamed future player would infuriate the majority of the fan base. It's a psychological shift that makes this hypothetical deal even more unpalatable for many, Shook further emphasizes. The Falcons' desperate need for a proven veteran to consistently pressure quarterbacks, drawing a parallel to their pursuit of Matt Judon last season. He acknowledges the significant hurdle of salary cap space, stating it would require creative accounting to fit Hendrickson's extension onto the books. However, he adds a crucial point. But when the leadership duos begin to feel the pressure, future spending matters less. This is the core of the argument for such a move. Desperation. If Fontenot and Morris feel their jobs are on the line, the long-term financial implications might take a back seat to immediate results. However, despite Shook's compelling rationale for the why, the reality is that this deal while perhaps making more sense in April, simply does not in August. While the Falcons' defense is indeed poised for a significant improvement, and there are high hopes for Michael Penix Jr.'s left arm and the offense. This Falcons team is not a Trey Hendrickson away from a Super Bowl appearance in 2025. The implications of having to sign Hendrickson to a new massive contract, while simultaneously negotiating extensions for crucial offensive weapons like Drake London and potentially Kyle Pitts, are simply not realistic. The financial gymnastics required would hamstring the team for years to come, sacrificing long-term stability for a short-term boost that might not even be enough to push them over the hump. Yes, Trey Hendrickson will undoubtedly be a more impactful player in 2025 than either James Pierce Jr. or Jalon Walker. That's not an optimistic prediction, it's a near certainty. But the Falcons are clearly looking far beyond just the 2025 season. Their strategic shift towards youth on defense, the investment in Penix, and the long-term vision for the franchise simply do not align with bringing in a 30-year-old edge rusher at such an astronomical cost in terms of both draft, capital, and salary. Hendrickson, for all his talent, does not fit the young movement that the Falcons are so clearly committed to. It's a tempting thought, a flash of immediate gratification, but it's a move that would fundamentally undermine the long-term strategy that the team has painstakingly laid out. So Falcons fans, what's your take on this wild proposal? Is the lure of immediate proven production from a player like Trey Hendrickson worth sacrificing our future draft capital and potentially crippling our salary cap for years to come? Or should we stay the course, trust in the development of our young defensive talent, and patiently wait for our long-term vision to materialize? Share your thoughts, your frustrations, and your hopes in the comments below. And if you're as invested in the future of the Atlanta Falcons as we are, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more in-depth analysis and passionate discussions about our team.